Hi there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com here with a pre-release core set 2019 opening and deck tech that we're going to open up a core set 2019 and build a deck for our pre-release. So let's get this bad boy on the road. And all right, so first off, what we have is I wish I'd go back to like some of the dice, like Concept Arc here. They did some special dice, different coloring, and those dice are actually worth money. These are just, yeah, every set they've been doing kind of the same format. All right, so we start off with we get a card. We get a Death Baron. Death Baron will be good if we get enough zombies. So skeleton creatures and other zombies you control get +1 and death touch. So this itself doesn't have death touch, which makes it quite weak unless we get enough zombies in our mix here. So, all right, but I'm not unhappy with that. I mean, it's a decent little card that we can work around. But it definitely isn't just like a garbage card for limited. All right, so we have Lava Axe and a Knight of the Tusk, a Gearsmith Prodigy, which can work if we get enough artifacts, but probably not. Catalyst Elemental, not too happy with that. It can ramp you up to a dragon. Elvish Rejuvenator, this is probably going to go in any green deck that if I do run a deck. Macaw Waltz is actually not horrible either, as it is something we don't have like Madness to really make this work in this particular format, but it's a decent little pitch a bad card, get 2 good cards back from your graveyard. We have the Stag, which is a 3/3 when it attacks, tap a creature defending player controls. If you remember Ixalan, this ability was on an uncommon, and that card was incredibly good. It doesn't have a creature type that works with it as much as it had a creature type in Ixalan Dinosaur. However, I don't think that's that big of a deal. I totally lost. This card is actually not a bad card in the right deck. 5 mana to reset your opponent's curve. It is removal too because it's going back on top of their library, so I tend to play those. Centaur Corsair, great filler card for green. Crash Through is a decent little cantrip card if you need it. If we pull stuff like Gutter Snipes or other prowess type cards, yeah, it's a decent card. We have the Garroper Guide. Target creature you control can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, so it can make some of your other creatures get through, get around tokens and other stuff. It is a 3/2 for 3, just like the Courser. It's a great little card. And we have the Fiery Finish. And if you need removal really badly, like if you're low on them, then the Fiery Finish is going to be a decent card. 6 mana to kill anything, basically. The Diregraph Ghoul, so we do have some synergies. And we have it at 7 mana. I'm not too happy about the Wind Raider Sphinx, because 7 mana for a 3/7 sometimes isn't where you want to be. But if it does stick out, it is going to draw you some cards to help you finish off that game. But it's a very defensive card. A lot of times you don't want to be attacking. If you have other flying creatures, though, you can attack with those. You can get value immediately if you do have flying creatures before it. So far, not a bad start of the pack. We are going to pack number 2. And we did pick up 1 zombie. I don't know. We'd have to have like a high amount of zombies in the next one. 3/7 Vigilance for the Knight, another Prodigy. Another Catalyst Elemental. The Talons of Wildwood, which is sort of like a Rancor. 2 mana for a 1/1, and then you can return it back from your graveyard to hand. These, don't estimate this ability. It seems like a pretty good ability. All of your creatures are going to get +1/+1 trample, or at least one creature is going to have this. Otherwise, for 3 mana, you can bring it back. So it's a very, very powerful ability. Duress, usually this will be in sideboard. If your opponent has a card, a non-creature spell that you absolutely cannot beat, this is when it comes in, but you never want to mainboard these. Angel of the Dawn, very good card for just a very good card. You get +1/+1 Vigilance, 5 mana when it comes out. So if you're a go-wide strategy, this is the perfect card as your top-end curve or even your mid curve. Vishield Pyromancer, incredibly aggressive card for I don't know if, 1 toughness matters. I don't know how big of a deal it is going to be in this format. If there's a lot of 1/3s and things like that, as we've seen in other formats. But a 2/1 for 2 mana that does 2 damage when it comes into play is, in my opinion, very, very solid for limited. We have the Salvager of Secrets, which is a 5 mana. Enters the battlefield. You return an instant Resurgent card from your graveyard to your hand. There's a little combo with the Waltz. You can get back this and then cast it to get back the Waltz, and then you can just go up in creature counts at that point. Root Snare is a Fog. Abnormal Endurance, +2/+0 when it enters. So this is a combat trick. You can use this creature removal or to dish off some damage to your opponent. 2 usually pump spells I say have to do 3 if you want them for their damage to the player. However, this is very similar to even like Adamant's Will from the last set, which ended up being a pretty good card. Indestructibility and +2/+2. Abnormal Endurance allows you +2/+0 to kill whatever combat exchange is going to happen, hopefully, and bring your creature back. So if it has an ETB effect, it's actually a little bit better than the Will. So I think that a lot of people underrate this card. Dragon Egg is a solid card, a 0/2, and then if it dies, you get a 2/2 flyer. We have the Twins, so it is a 7/7 for 7. So it can happen in your higher end curve. We don't know how fast this format is. I haven't played it yet, sealed how fast it is. This could definitely be a decent card because it is it can block an additional creature and then has trample, so it's good on both ends. And we have a Lightning Strike. So far, I'm liking a lot of the red cards we have. We've been able to get so far, but I do have a Patience Rebuilding, so I'm also liking blue a ton, as the Patience Rebuilding is a 5 mana for at the beginning of your upkeep, target opponent puts the top 3 cards of their library into their graveyard, and for you draw a card for each land card put in the graveyard this way. So a lot of times, on average, it will do a little over 1 card per turn, and you get value immediately. Nope, at the beginning of your upkeep. Okay, so I don't know. We're kind of in. I really like the blue. Black and green are also very solid, and white's actually not looking bad either. So again, we're only in 2 packs, but these packs have been fairly decent. All right, so we have Revitalize will work if we have any sort of life gain strategy. We have a Frilled Sea Serpent, which is a nice little finisher for blue. Got great defensive. Another Lava Axe. So far this doesn't look like a bad seal pool. If we can get a couple of the Sovereign's Bites, I think is what it's called, or more Lightning Strikes and some of the more Viashinos, we could definitely go burn right to the face. And I kind of like that because seal decks tend to stumble, and if you can be that aggro deck with a really decent curve, you can definitely win some matches that way and take advantage of people stumbling. You know, I think a lot of people will want to be playing a lot of 2 colors where lands come into play tapped. That also can work. We have the Greenwood Sentinel, just a 2/2 for 2 Vigilance, not a bad card. With Hired Blade, a 3/2 flash, great card in can be used as a combat trick, or keep up removal. You don't have to use it. Flash and Hired Blade. Marauder's Axe. This is an okay card. 2 and equip 2 for 2. This is good if you have a big go wide strategy where you need to make a flyer bigger. Usually I only play this in flyers or evasive. Essence Scatter, very solid card if we end up going blue. Naturalize, kind of filler. Cyborg card. We have a Strangling Spores, -3 and -3. This is a really good card. And the Druid of the Horns. So we actually have the Aura. Couple hours actually work with the Druid so far, but it might be a little bit too hard to work. The Aeromancer's Cage, a 4 mana for exile a non-land card opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield, so kind of like a fixed Ixalan's Binding. They can still cast cards with it. Heroic Reinforcements, really good card if we can go into red-white. Red-white seems okay if we get some more tokens. We have the Angel that pumps up things, and now we have the Heroic Reinforcements that puts out 2/1/1 white soldier creature tokens, as well as gives them +1/+1 haste. All your creatures +1 haste that turn. So, and we have Resplendent Angel. So red-white so far looks like it's barely gone ahead now with a 3/3/5 for 3. And this card's actually pretty good and limited, as you can pump in. And we have a couple Angels that already work with this. And a Foil Catalyst Elemental, not too good. I don't know. There's nothing we're really ramping into at the moment. So, yeah, it'll be interesting where we go with this. Blue-white also looks good. Blue-white Flyers. We do have the Wind Reader Sphinx. So, looks like Zombies isn't happening, though, unless these 3 packs just contain a ton of them. All right, so we get another Trumpet Blast. I like going these strategies if we can get some tokens, or just a lot of creatures that we can cast early. Revitalize, haven't seen a life gain strategy yet in our packs yet. Another Frilled Serpent, another 2/2 Vigilance. We do get a Zombie with Menace for 2, works really good with our Lord. We have the Salvager of Secrets, another way to get back an instant or sorcery spell. It does leave back a 2/2 body, but for 5 mana that is a little bit rough. We do get a Sovereign's Bite. Wanted one to kind of go with where we were going with the Lightning Axe. However, I think that white is still above black at this moment. The Bogart Brute, 3/2 Menace, very good for our little strategy that I kind of want to go. Wall of Mist, if we end up going some sort of mill strategy, it can work. A Rabid Bite is not to be underestimated. It is not even a fight card. It just deals damage to a creature with the power of one of your creatures. We have the Aether Tunnel, which is a +1/+0 enchantment that puts on something that can't be blocked. I'm certain that there will be a strategy with green-blue to make a creature unblockable and just win that way. We have a Sift, great little card advantage. A Declared Dominance, Target creature gets +3/3 until end turn must be blocked. All creatures must block it. And we have the Metamorphic Alteration. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature. Enchanted creature is a copy of the chosen creature. Kind of a weird effect. You have to have... It ends up being a 2-for-1. You're 2-for-1ing yourself to copy the best creature on the board without any sort of ETB abilities. So, not a fan of that card. Not a fan of that rare. Alright, so what I'm hoping for right now, I still like the red-white. I think we have a solid plan for red-white. What needs to be pushed me over the top for blue is just another blue bomb. And black is right there. But green, I think, is out of the question at the moment. I think green's our weakest. Fire Elemental at least is a playable. We have a Loxodon Linebreaker, which is actually very welcome if we do go the aggro. Another Field Sea Serpent, that's even too many. If we were going to blue, I would never play 3 of them. I think you cap out at 2. Infectious Horror works in 2-headed giant, pretty weak in just 1v1. Another Oaken form can go on our little Aura person, but pretty meh. Thornbite Wolves is pretty meh. Pegasus Courser, yes, this is what I want for red-white. Especially if we give one of our Menace flyers, then it's going to be really tough to block. Smelled is just absolutely garbage in this format. Druid of the Cowl is great to ramp into stuff if we can get there. The Sky Scanner, enters the battlefield, draw a card. We will be playing this in any deck probably because I think that we're going to be pretty light because we're all over the place so far. Psychic Corrosion, another mill card. Now this is really getting interesting because whenever you draw a card, each opponent puts the top 2 cards of their library in their graveyard. So now blue-white looks pretty good, red-white looks pretty good as well. So that'll be the decision. A Rogue's Gloves gives something if you deal damage with a card, draw a card. So it's good to go on a little flyer. And the Gargoyle Sentinel, a 3/3 for 3 and can lose defender and gain flying. This is probably going to go in our blue-white flyers if we go blue-white flyers. Now we got an Izrath the Awakener. This is pretty decent. It is a human wizard at 3/3, and then it brings back... man, there's some focus here. Sorry if this hasn't been focused this entire time. I just noticed the focusing was kind of off. Death Touch 3/3 for 3, and whenever it attacks, you can pay X and you can return a creature card with converted mana cost X or less back from your graveyard to the battlefield, and then if it would leave the battlefield, it gets exiled. So man, now black actually gets a buff with the Izareth, the Awakener. Alright, so this pack I really want to have a bomb in here to define where I go, like a red dragon bomb, another white bomb card. Otherwise, this has been kind of an interesting, kind of a weak pool in my opinion. I'm not sure where we're at. Uncomfortable Chill, which can save us for a turn by giving creatures -2, -0, and then you can draw a card. This doesn't even have to be attacking creatures, so it's a great combat trick as well. Catalyst Elemental, I think this is our 4th one. Our Rustwing Falcon goes great with our blue-white flyers. The Infernal Scarring, probably not a card I want to be playing unless, we go black-green enchantments, which I don't think we have enough for. The Gearsmith Guardian, you have a blue card, it becomes a 5/5 for 5. Could end up playing this, I'm not sure. The Havoc Devils is a trample for 3, which will go well in our red-white if we go red-white. Invoke the Divine, probably relegated in this format, definitely to a sideboard card. Skeletal Archer, which, decently leads to be effect. Another Wolf, a Millstone, which does actually work with Mill, but I still wouldn't even play it. I think the 2 Mill cards we have are Renewable Resources, and this is kind of Renewable Resources. Maybe we will try to go Mill. Novice Knight is a 2/3 defender, and then if it's equipped, it can attack as though it didn't have defender. But if we are going blue-white, we probably need to stall at the board. And this is good with the Meteor Golem as a 3/3 that can destroy any permanent. Well, we get a Vivian Reed. I don't know if that's going to be able to push us over to green, as we can look at the top 4 cards of the library, reveal a creature or land card from one of them, and put them in your hand. And then this -3 can destroy an artifact, enchantment, or creature. Emblem is really good with the +2/+2 vigilance and indestructible. Oh, trample and indestructible. So I wanted a bomb. Unfortunately, it was in the color that I felt was the weakest going into this pack. So this is going to be a rough choice. Black, we only had 1 removal spell out of black, and the Izareth Awakener. So I'm going to fan through here and see. We're going to look at the colors of which cards from each of the colors are kind of the stronger suits of the course. So I'm going to get rid of all the filler here, and we'll see where we're at. Okay, so this is where I've come up with a Sultai deck. Sultai in parentheses because it's just a really, really subtle splash for black. I think this is the best I can come up with this particular pool. The pool is very light on playable creatures. Close second was white. White, we did get some decent cards. We had a removal spell a bomb is in the form of Resplendent Angel, which bomb is even in quotations too, because it really takes a lot of mana, triple white, to then give this +2/+2 to start creating the white angel tokens. I just don't think it's going to get there, and not a lot of other synergies to go with this. Red was completely unplayable. We ended up with like 6 creatures is all, and 4 of them were Catalyst Elementals. It was pretty terrible. Blue had a ton of creatures, and I'm cutting like the Wind Raider Sphinx. We have a Wall of Mist that can go in the sideboard. However, I don't like a lot of these other cards. The Metamorphic Alteration, I think, is pretty bad. If my opponent has something that it can be copied, sure, I'll bring it in. We have this alternate win condition. We can bring in the 2 mill cards to pair with the other one and then stall the board with a bunch of big green creatures. However, that's not the route I want to go in the main. So, yeah, with black just not having them, this is total black cards. There's not enough to actually work with. I believe there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 creatures, and none of them are that. Besides the Izareth the Awakener, none of them are too interesting to play. So at least with this deck you have in front of you, it has a lot of action. So we have some 2-drops to make sure we stall at the board or get in there for some early damage. The 2/2 Vigilances are not bad. I can see the argument for going that, oh, maybe I should go this route with the unblockable, putting an unblockable enchantment would be terrible there, or just going with the Druid of the Horns and Oaken forms, because you could go turn 2 Greenwood Sentinel, turn 3 put an Oaken form on it, you have a 5/5 Vigilance, and then if you go turn 4 Druid of the Horns and then throw on an Oaken form. But I just don't like to get 2 for 1 in these type of formats with these type of cards. So again, this could be the right route to go. I'd rather just have a bunch of creatures out to clog the board and get to our late game. So we have our 2 drops with 3 creatures. That's also why I chose this. It had the best curve. The other curves were miserable in the other color combinations. It had some awkward. It just looked awful when I paired it out. So at our 3 drop, we have to run the Gargoyle Sentinel. It's a decent card. It's a 3/3 for 3 defender, and then you can give it loses defender and gain flying for 3 mana. The Sky Scanner can go find the 1 of Swamp that we are going to put in here, maybe 2 swamps. I haven't done the mana base quite yet. For a 1/1 flyer, and then you. Oh no, this one doesn't actually go get a land. Never mind, it just draws a card, which is a good little filler. It's fine. The Gearper Guide, which is a 3/2 for 3. I don't really care too much about the can't be blocked aspect of it. We'd have a Centaur Corsair, which is a 3/3 for 3, and an Elvish Rejuvenator. This one looks for lands. So we have to skip a 4-drop to put a couple of 4/5s on the board, as well as this, the Archaeomancer, the more expensive Archaeomancer. We can turn this sorcery card from our graveyard to our hand. That's why we're running black, is the Salvager of Secrets and the Waltz actually do combo together. So if you just make sure you keep some dead lands in hand to actually discard a card, this will allow you to get back you play this, then you get back the Waltz, and then when this dies, you can get it back and another creature, and then you can be up in card advantage, at least as your board state again back out. We'd have some better cards at the high end, like getting back a Meteor Golem. That's why we're going to play 17 lands from Meteor Golem and the Gaspard Twins. So again, this is a pretty bad sealed pool, but you got to do what you got to do with that sealed pool. So I have to outplay my opponents for sure, and the Salvager of Secrets allows me to do that. It allows me to get back some key instant or sorcery spells, and then when we get the kind of loop going with the Waltz, that can actually end up happening. So the good news is, though, we do have a Vivian Reed, which does pair pretty decently. I don't think we'll be missing with the plus. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 creatures. A little bit lower than I want to be, usually like around 16 to 18 creatures, at least in a sealed pool. However, I could bring in some of the Frilled, the 4/6 for 6, and that actually does fill that curved spot. And I'll have to make that decision before I sleeve this up. If I value a card like Essence Scatter in the main, I'm not sure I do with kind of the curve I have. So this could actually be a Frilled. But the other reason for running black is we were very removal light. We had a Lightning Strike and a 7 mana damage spell. We had 1 enchant of the Ixalan's Binding type card from white. This was all we got from black. And then a Rabid Bite from green. And so you want some removal, and that's really what I have working for. So I think I need to splash the black for that reason. We have a Totally Lost, which is pseudo removal as well, so we're going to be running that. And then the Sift is a card draw. and the Uncomfortable Chill as a big combat trick of giving all creatures -2 and -0, all creatures opponent control, and drawing a card. So Patient Rebuilding is other win condition. If we can saw the board out, then we can mill them out with our Patient Rebuilding. But again, I've seen worse sealed pools, so I'm actually happy I can actually put together a game plan. But this is below average, I would say, of a sealed pool. Again, I don't know if white is the right route to go. I doubt it. Red is just atrocious, like I said. Red is just really, really terrible with the cards that we got. And this is the big question mark. Do I run 3 more creatures that do have a decent little curve with what we're doing here? It does make us a little bit higher end, but at least us, we clog the board, get these 4/6 out, and they actually can give themselves unblockable to win the game. But I don't think I want to go that route. And the other unknown is if I go the Oaken form route. Depending on what I'm playing against, we could easily side in those specific cards. I could see myself, like in a game, actually even siding in white and then going kind of with the Oaken. And there's a couple, like a 1/2 flyer or a 3/3 flyer that then can get pumped up by that enchantment. But if they're like removal light. But yeah, like I said, we had a lot of really, really weird cards in this pool to try to build nothing really stood out. So I'm happy though that we actually could make a 23 card deck with 17 lands. So I'll let you know how I do. Glad to get a Vivian read. I'll let you know how well Vivian does, as I think card advantage plus at least killing creatures with flying or artifacts and enchantments is pretty sweet on a walker. And if it does get up to ult range, but we're in great shape. So I'll maybe do another one of these too for the following pre-release. But hope you guys actually get out and get your pre-release. This is, in my opinion, some of the most fun times in Magic is right when a new set is being played. No one knows exactly what to do, and it really, I think that's why I'm so successful at a lot of these things. Is it's a brewer's paradise at this point before people get a grasp of what is like the best way to go with this format. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. This is Kevin with Rogue Deck Builder. Thanks for watching.